Right, before we get through this door, I thought I'd pick up a fire starter just in case. Oh, that may end up.
Eclipse. They're here.
Avoid contact.
Really?
Lines look good.
Gaia. It's up there. Second floor.
Can you reach it?
So much for avoiding contact.
Can I please grab a fire starter? Damn it! Whatever.
Over here! It's her!
Well, that wasn't exactly... That's probably not even close to being it. Oh, oh, I see you. Ha ha!
Wait,
Lovely. Was that it for those assholes?
So they
I
woke
see
up.
something.
That's the last of them.
Cool.
Alert. H-lock structural failure. Repeat.
Or not.
Ah, crap. Oh, great! How about we, Okay, that'll work. That's...
The shadow will reach you.
Room's clear.
Nice!
For a moment, anyway.
Then get moving. You have to find Gaia.
Not gonna give me a second silence? No? Fine. Nope, that's not it. Actually, that might be not such a bad idea, but... Nope, you dumb, stupid thing. Come on. Slag shine glass. Okay. Anything around here I can take.
Alert. Area inaccessible. Elevators non-operational. Stairwells have collapsed.
Well, thank you for telling me. Oh. Just in case any more of those Eclipse assholes want to show up, I'm gonna go prepared. That's not exactly the best way to do things. Wow. Construction area. Huh. Check over here. Oh, screw it. It's quicker, isn't it, without it? Wow. Oh. Simulation results. From Margot Shen to Silbeck. Wow! You weren't kidding about Gaia's predilection for animal metamorphoses. Sure, not totally unexpected given the rough natural terrain her bots will have to navigate, but I agree that there's something deeper going on here. me. Her designs aren't just functional. They feel almost like, well, tributes is the word that comes to mind. As though she's already mourning their loss. And not just for the disappearing fauna of our time, but creatures from the fossil record too. Oh wow, okay, she's developing feelings. Interesting. References to megafauna in some of her designs. So cool. Well, whatever Gaia thinks up, the fastest will empower her to build it. Ah, so that must be those cauldrons. Okay, okay, so I was right about that. I assume that's how I'm reading it. I just wish we could still be around this century or two to see what she makes. So those things sort of help extend the wildlife? Okay. So things like the birds, the ancient crocodiles. There actually was a dinosaur that was basically like a giant, like an enormous ancient alligator. I can't, that lived in the sea. I cannot remember what the hell for life of what it was called. I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments. But yeah, that. But essentially, like crocodiles, alligator. Look, I'm gonna stress. I'm just gonna call it a crocodile because that's how I've grown up being called. I know there's alligators. Don't worry, I know there's a difference. But you've got everything from basically the glinthawks and sort of like pterodactyls to massive eagles to whatever to striders, which I would assume are like maybe a large dog or something. You've got the Thunderjaw, which I should be like a T-Rex, maybe. You've got the behemoths, I think are like rhinos. What were they called? You've got the... oh my god, what's it called again? The Ravagers, I think... was it Ravager? No, Sawtooth, I'd say like a saber-toothed tiger, maybe? Ravagers, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe like a pouncing dog, because that's kind of how they act, like a sawtooth does, like a puppy that doesn't want to leave you alone and jump on you. Trying to think, there was oh god, oh my god, what's it called again? Oh jeez, oh my memory's on sleep on that one. Things like buffaloes, all that sort of stuff. You'll know which. I'm sure you'll remember which one. Chargers. That's what they were, like buffaloes or whatever. So it's like, they're just. I think that's what they're taking it from. That's actually kind of cool that they've taken from those aspects of history. That's really kind of cool that Gaia is recognizing it. It's awesome. I assume that's meant to be a entry point somewhere. Can I get over this, please? Wow. Huh. Look at that, submissions.
Hello, I'm Margot Shen,
Oh,
and this is Hephaestus. As the name might tip you off, this is going to be the subordinate function that Gaia will use to make lots and lots of robots. Her personal forge. Except, it's not that simple. So like, you probably noticed that only about a third of you are robotics engineers. The rest, experts in machine cognition, virtual heuristics, that stuff. Well, that's because we aren't going to be the ones designing and building robots. The last thing we want is to burden Gaia with a bunch of outmoded 21st century designs. Waste of time. Our purpose is to empower Gaia to build the robots, and not just build, imagine, from scratch. Any robot she needs for any conceivable purpose, designed and fabricated at a snap of a finger. Hers. Her finger. So, Hephaestus isn't really the forge. It's more like the knowledge of craft and ingenuity of a mastersmith to wield the hammer. Encoded as software. Virtual creativity made real. Gaia's already learning. In simulation, she's doing some very creative things with fractal assembly and animal morphologies. Her designs aren't about to win the Liam Prize anytime soon, but hey, everyone has to start somewhere. So, yes, time to get started. Let's do this.
I don't get it.
Which part? It's a little technical at places.
If Gaia was designed to save life, why would I've seen these shapes before? In cauldrons.
But of course, the birthing places of Gaia's machine.
Yeah, that's what I suggested. Yeah, okay. Huh, I get that to an extent. Huh. Wow, is that like a machine? Just give me a second. I'm gonna just get a nice picture of that. That's actually really cool. I don't know whether that's a drive coil. I'm not an engineer, so I'm just I'm guessing right now. Maybe that's an. I don't know. Generator. I don't know. Yeah. No engineer or mechanic, so I know very little. Just guesses. I'm sure they're completely wrong. Full steam ahead. From Sobek to Shen. Margot. If I doubted your brilliance in the slightest, I wouldn't have picked you as Hephaestus Alpha. You need to stop worrying about your age and communication style. You are who you are. Have confidence in yourself. You know what you're doing. Case in point, the latest draft of your plan for the construction and stockpiling of bootstrap silos to store raw materials is excellent. This, combined with your design for the AM Foundry, I'm sure that's supposed to mean, or maybe it's Alpha Module Foundry. I'm assuming. I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing. Foundry coil and the Foundry selection site selection plan add up to a comprehensive plan. It's time to start construction. One detail: consult with Captain Okilo. Okilo, before you finalize the silo inventories. The fastest first task will be to fabricate the robots that will construct the waveform broadcast towers Minerva will use to transmit the activation codes. So any exotic materials needed for the towers should be accounted for in the inventory plan. Elizabeth. Okay. So Minerva is essentially those broadcast towers. Oh no, sorry. So Minerva is like a communications, data and communications sort of data and communication network. AI specialist, I'm assuming. I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to remember what Minerva was good at in AC. My brain's got completely to sleep in that department. So I know each of these things had like some unique significance. I'm sure they're using those terms in that relation, but my brain just isn't remembering. So I think it's just because I'm trying to just absorb everything and take it all in. So I'm just got to sleep in that regard. Which, for that matter, I suppose it cannot be blamed. Right, anything back here that we can... Nope. Okay. Can't access that just yet. Fair enough. Let's be into that room at some point. Okay. Huh.
I think this is it.
Uh-huh.
Elizabeth Sobek's office. But it's sealed off.
Of course it would
There's
be.
got to be a way inside.
Keep
Sure
looking.
there is. Really, Sans? Like you had to say that to us. Obviously. Keep looking. Good God, man.
More eclipse.
Oh.
Careful now.
Really? Really? I will take off this focus. Silence. Shut up. Just being careful, just in case. Wait, is that? Oh, there's something. Oh no, there's something down there. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna take them on just yet. If I have to go at them for all that, we will. Okay, so so there's stairs down there, fine.
Welcome to Apollo, the collective memory of the human species and the wellspring of knowledge for future generations. I am Samina Ebaji. Until recently, I was director of the International Collective Memory Institute in New Tehran. As a heritage professional, I devoted my career to the preservation of human knowledge, creative endeavor, and cultural achievement. Apollo is, therefore, the ultimate embodiment of a lifelong passion, albeit under the very worst circumstances imaginable.
Obviously.
The challenges before us are immense. Specifically, we will have to design and implement 4 major initiatives simultaneously. First, the construction of data repositories in cradle facilities around the world, ensuring redundancy.
Wow.
Second, the collection and processing of a projected 180 million discrete data entries.
Wow.
42 zettabytes of data in Mandarin, English, Spanish, and Arabic.
Oh, God.
Third, the transferal and encoding of all that data onto DNA encapsulated in synthetic fossils.
Oh.
The only medium capacious and durable enough to safeguard it without degradation for the centuries to come. And last, but not least, the development of the holographic interface and gamified curricula, by which future humans will commune with Apollo, progressively unlocking heuristic learning modules, leveling up their knowledge and skills they will need to take control of the terraforming system. That is the future towards which all of our efforts will be directed. Not just the preservation of the past, but the seed for the flourishing of a new tree of knowledge.
So what the hell?
Welcome, and let us begin.
So what the hell went wrong? That's my only question. What the hell went wrong? Huh. Zettabytes, I'm assuming, are like the next. No, I think I assumed zettabytes. I think I said next thing. Evolution from terabytes. I'm assuming. I could be completely wrong. I'm just assuming that's the next step up. So, or next stage. The bytes evolutionary system. Encapsulated DNA. Submitted to Elizabeth. And the winner is encapsulated DNA. Over the past 10 days, I performed an exhaustive review of data storage solutions, magnetic, optical, quantum, even the eternity tech that FAS was shilling a year or so ago. But every other solution has one or more fatal shortcomings. Too heavy to transport, too massive to install in the allocated space, too power intensive over the centuries, too prone to failure past 300 to 400 years, etc., etc. Encapsulated DNA will easily hold over 40 plus zettabytes we're projecting for Apollo. There are still many details to finalize, of course. To start with, we need to select the inert material in which will embed the molecules, already testing 16 candidate materials, as well as design and fabricate the power systems and sealed reliquaries that will keep the DNA at minus 18 degrees Celsius for the millennia plus. Huh. I suppose that is a necessity. So I thought it'd be colder than that. I'm not saying the minus 18 ain't damn cold, but damn freezing. But I thought it might be colder for cryohibernation. Maybe it doesn't need to be that cold, that freezing. Okay, interesting. So long as I assure you that didn't factor into my decision, may I confess that I deem it entirely fitting, indeed, propitious, that we'll be using the very building blocks of life to preserve human knowledge from mechanized extinction. It's not just ironic, it's heroic. Life is the hero, beating back the forces of oblivion. In any case, much to do. Until next time, peace be with you. Well, at least I found a way. Excuse me, going through the notions, I suppose. Hello, update. to me to Elizabeth. Over the past 2 months, the full benefits and procurement of a copy of the Homer archive from Far Zenith has made itself known, and as a result, all of Apollo's key deliverables are on schedule. Apollo's already surpassed 40 million discrete data entries and continues to grow. The physical science modules are effectively complete, with soft science modules close behind. World history, cultural data, and media archives are also on schedule. Language preservation is wrapping up a bit ahead of schedule due to falling short of our goal to preserve 4,500 languages. I suppose the tragic early loss of Papua New Guinea doomed that goal from the outset. Wow. With attendant curricular development about to begin. Well, that needs to start. Well, I suppose they're going to start one thing at a time with the massive projects, I suppose. Speaking of heuristic curricula, they are performing well in testing, with children and adolescents demonstrating high levels of engagement with and trust in the Aristotle and Aspasia persona. Personally, I find them highly engaging, especially when they debate. I always have my professors to be so entertaining. I get the Aristotle, I don't get the Aspasia. I'm only saying Aspasia because of in AC Odyssey there was a character named that was pronounced Aspasia, so that's the only reason I'm pronouncing it that way, just so people will understand. And I'm sure, I know there was another way to pronounce Aristotle as well, can't remember, but that's the way I've always grown up learning it, Aristotle. I'm surprised be Aspasia. Although I must admit, there were a couple of other people I could think of, I just can't remember what they are now. I suppose you couldn't put Aphrodite though, I suppose. That wouldn't make a huge amount of sense. I didn't think Aspasia was a part of Greek mythology. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Actually, can anyone, if that is truly the case, Aspasia is part of Greek mythology or Greek history, can someone actually let me know what her involvement was, or what her mythology is? I mean, I know Aristotle was a real person, but he went into history as being very famous, and he almost became, I suppose, a mythology in terms of, because of what he was famous for, almost made him a part of mythology, I suppose you could call it. So, but he's very famous, so I don't remember Aspasia being a famous name. Someone let me know if that is where she's, if she is famous for something, and if so, what the hell that is. Yeah. But I don't know a huge amount about Greek cultural history, so maybe that could be a factor in that, to be honest. Okay. Let's work this out. Haha! Really are running away, aren't you? Huh. So this way then? That's and here, wasn't it? Side. Stay around here. Oh. Okay. Okay, this dude wants to hide. Fine. Cool. Double check. Is there anything up here? I looked. Received Janice stacks closed.
Dr. Sobek, please archive this testimonial in Apollo. Cross-reference to all mentions of my name and Operation Enduring Victory. My name is General Aaron Harris. From 2060 to 2066, I served as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranked officer of the United States Armed Forces. The tenure of my command included strategic planning and oversight of Operation Enduring Victory, a falsehood perpetrated on the civilian populations of the United States and other nations during the last 14 months of life on this planet. Before the Pharaoh Plague, I did my job and did it well. I was bold and decisive, crafty in political maneuvers. It wasn't an accident that I rose to my position and became the commander of the largest mechanized force ever assembled. But to what end? My only lasting achievement was the extinction of life on Earth. And my one redeeming act, if any, was to delay that extinction by days or weeks, by throwing more death at it. It is my hope that there will be no need for men like me in the world to come. If you are one of the people of that future world listening to this message, please know that I am sorry and that I wish you well. Sincerely, Aaron Harris.
Wow. At least he admits to it in that regard, so that's good. For what it's worth, I mean. Ooh, I like the way that lighting. I need a quick picture of this light. That's actually pretty. Come on, darkness, don't do this to me. It's actually kind of cool. Huh. I mean, I know it's really bright, but it's just interesting. You know, just that would be. It almost looks like one of those massive engineering cores in the middle of a room. Good jump up that way. It was the easier way around here.
That's the last of them. Alone once more.
In what should have been a cave of wonders. Look around. See if anything is left.
Okay, nothing there.
Welcome to Hades.
Ooh.
Zero Dawn's extinction failsafe protocol.
Ah.
Ultimate killer app.
I figured.
Now, I know what you're thinking. The purpose of Gaia is to resurrect life. So why give her a subordinate function, only purpose of which is to wipe out life all over again? I mean, what the... what? Just plumb crazy, ain't it? Well, no, it isn't. Reconstituting a biosphere? That's a tall order. Tech smart as Gaia may be, odds are she won't get it right the first time. I mean, imagine you're Gaia, 200 years from now, and this new biosphere growing, it's all gone wrong. Alkalines are skyrocketing, coniferous forests eroding under the lash of superstorms that would have drowned Noah. It's chaos, a spinning top that won't stop wobbling. Now what are you gonna do? Release phase 1 organisms into that hot mess? Hope their CO2 and methane can balance out what you got started? Hell no. What you're gonna do, Gaia, is step aside while Hades takes over and does what you're just too darn nurturing and life-loving to do, which is burn that misbegotten mess of a biosphere to the ground so Gaia can start over. Okay, not burn, more like reverse terraforming operations and suffocate it. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
Hades takes the biosphere back to zero. Square one, blank slate. And then, only then, does it hand the steering wheel back to Gaia and say, try again, old girl. And better this time, or we'll have to do this again. That's Hades. It's pretty badass when you think about it. Extinction on demand. Death on speed dial. All for the greater good, of course, but still, kind of metal. So welcome to Hades. Welcome to the void.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if that's the original purpose of Hades, why does it want me extinct?
Sure enough.
We need more data.
And how does it end up in the wreckage of a Pharaoh Titan, getting worshipped by the Eclipse like some kind of god?
I'm learning as you are, Aloy. Keep searching.
So I was right in that assumption that, you know, it's sort of like that fail-safe. So I was right in my guess there. I mean, it kind of makes sense in its own way. So, I mean, it needs to have something in case Guy is stuffed up. Okay. Stuffed up, so yeah, does actually make sense. Noise complaints. Okay. Tight to Sobek. Color me confused, Lizzie. Bashcore? Anyone says OTT codes to Bashmore is straight up lying. And you know it too. Ultrav don't have no truck for commercialized razzle-dazz. Nuh-uh. Heck, I'd rather guzzle a liter of citron rather than listen to Grey Swarm for 30 seconds. Had to God and swear on my mama's grave. And she was religious. It always makes you try and want to put a terrible Texas accent. I'm sorry if I do go that way, but this way of talking is not... I'm not very good at it, so bear with me. No, that ain't hardcore blasting the Hades. If that ain't bashcore blasting the Hades lab, shaking the walls, rattling folks' teeth, it's death metal, girl. Classical music, 80s and 90s mostly, got me some Dutch deathcore, some Japanese gore grind, some Swedish cannibal themed stuff too. Stop by if you want to listen. Or heck, come by within 50 minutes of the lab. Ain't no bashcore, you'll see. Or here, rather else, in the streets that rends the air, and feel in the throbbing pulse of the floor and walls and ceilings swelling you up like you were Jonah trapped in a gullet of gothic deathfish. Hallelujah! What? As for its request to turn it down, no can do, Lizzie. This is how I code. Turn down my death metal, might as well give up stimulants, chocolate malts, and industrial accident vids. Oh god, wow, okay. I suppose he's trying to get guys to stand up by bats a little too far, the industrial accident vids, but okay. Last I heard, we're supposed to be coding Hades down here. Am I really supposed to code the extinction protocol without death metal to inspire me? Nah, I don't think so. Oh god. I suppose he has a point there, but could do with soundproofing to an extent, but yeah. Sorry if I went a bit more American Texan, that sort of stuff. I'm terrible with accent, but when I read it that way, it kind of flows out of me, so yeah. My apologies to anyone American ears that. I know it's a terrible way of doing it. Just my mind goes that way. Flows that way sometimes. With that way of talking. Hades Protocol. Take it here. Just popped 3 blues, but I earned it. Excuse me. Finally figured out a Goldilocks solution to Guy's rather extreme executive authority. If that ain't worth 10 to 12 hours of dream time, what is? Before this, every usurpation protocol I designed failed in simulations because they're either too hard or too soft. Too hard, and it degraded the Gaia core, sure. It pried her figurative fingers off the figurative driving wheel so Hades could take control, but by breaking her fingers, sometimes her arms too. So that can't fly. So that couldn't fly. Everything depends on Gaia taking control back after Hades has done its business. So I had to find a solution that didn't give Gaia any worse for the wear. Too soft, and Gaia only pretended to relinquish control. In simulation after simulation, Hades would command the terraforming system and reverse operations, only to have Gaia lurk in the background, quietly re-reversing processes and falsifying telemetry to hide its interference. Oh god, right. Sneaky. I swear ain't nothing Gaia wouldn't do to keep life going, even when it's just simulated plant life. Turns out the just right solution is to isolate Gaia in a protective code shell, preserving its integrity, and then unseat it from command position so Hades can slip into the figurative captain's chair and do work its magic. Those blues are coming on strong now, so I'm not really describing it so clear, but pretty sure it'll work. Yeah, guess those blues are plenty strong. Guess it's time to sleep in bed. Back tomorrow, alligators. Well, at least he's figured out. So it's called like, there's a captain's seat, sort of like swapping them out when necessary. Okay, I get the gist of that. It's actually rather ingenious when you think about it. Wow, so is that? Oh, that's a shitload of machine parts, or that's just a collapsed wall. Archive abuse. Okay, from Samir to Travis. Elizabeth. Okay, Tate. This mail concerns Apollo Archive submission 23876. Your 660th submission in just 5 days. And what a doozy. Despite earlier warnings regarding inappropriate materials, you choose to submit 265 holographic remasters of acknowledged classics of extreme exploitation cinema. Allow me then to thank you on 2 counts. 1. To give me the pleasure of rejecting your submission, thereby consigning your favourite Eastern European torture flicks and their ilk to the dustbin of oblivion. It truly warms my heart to know that I have saved future humanity from the ordeal of experiencing not just one, but all 16 installments of Making a Millipede. I'll assume that's a horror film, but okay. Don't worry, the Pasolini material has already been preserved, extreme perhaps, but art. I'm guessing that's some sort of derivative of Mussolini? No, probably wrong. Not sure. I'm only saying that because of the word similarity, by the way. The spelling similarity, just by the way. That's the only. If it is similar, pure coincidence, I should point out. 2. For clarifying a concept that has been so long been ambiguous and ethically fraught with archivists for such as myself, the definition of obscenity. You have freed me from the subjective quagmire embodied in Judge Potter's famous utterance. I know it when I see it. Thanks to you, I can now apply a single objective criterion. If Travis Tate submitted obscene, that's okay. That's one way to categorize, I suppose. Accordingly, I directed Apollo Star to summarily reject all of your future submissions, sight unseen. Perhaps you might invest the time you would have spent preparing further submissions on, I don't know, your assigned work. You have a world to save after all, or the rest of us, or the rest of us do anyway. Okay.
Looks like the only way onwards. 'Cause
Right. FC chambers? I've forgotten what that's supposed to mean. I've totally forgotten. From Patrick to Elizabeth. The egocentric, the the ectogenic chambers arrived 2 days ago. I spent the last 36 hours examining them and poring over technical documentation. Their revelation, astonishing. I don't know what you had to give Far Zenith in trade to get these chambers, but it was worth it. In a single leap, their embryologists have vaulted past 50 years of technological shortcomings. The risk of ECMO or ECMO resolved. Nutrition delivery resolved. Hormonal stability resolved. 12 other risk areas resolved. Before I examined those chambers, I considered the Odyssey to be a fool's errand. But if the rest of FC's technology is at this level, well, a human colony around Sirius doesn't seem too impossible after all. Mass fabrication of the chambers will present a number of challenges, but I'm confident they'll be resolved. I'm going to rest for a few hours, then get back to it. Expect the fabrication plan within 48 hours. Wow. Not sure what the heck the FC's for, but guess we'll find out.
Welcome to Eleuthia, the crown and king of Gaia's subordinate functions. For it is by Eleuthia that the human race will continue to exist. I am Patrick Brochard-Klein, the Alpha in charge of this program. Now let one thing be perfectly clear from the outset. Eleuthia is not a genetic engineering project.
Okay.
Our goal is to preserve the human genome, not alter it.
Good.
A snapshot of human genetic diversity, literally frozen in time. The genetic quintessence of our species, unmodified. Under my watch, our activities and initiatives will comply with the 2034 clone provisions and the 2048 Rally Accords. Now that may seem a quaint, even trivial concern to you in light of present circumstances, but as one of the authors of the Accords,
oh wow, okay,
it is far from trivial to me.
I'm sure it would be.
The practical challenges before us are staggering in scope and complexity, but not insurmountable. No.
Huh.
Global collation and provisional storage of zygotes, perfection of exogenic technologies, design and perfection of servitors to provide nurture and inculcation during early child development. All of these program components must and will proceed in tandem. To say nothing of the breakneck construction of cradle facilities at sites around the world. So, si vous êtes prêts, let us begin.
So it essentially just proves that it's cloning, so that Aloy is a clone of Elizabeth Sobek. That just basically proves it. Okay. Wait, are these like active? No, they're long since forgotten, I'd imagine. Or maybe they're just test modules, that's what could be the case. Cradle sealed. Patrick to Elizabeth Guiding Cradle sealed. Eleuthia over 1 was successfully sealed before the swarm advancing across Xinjiang province could detect. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, by the way. Could detect it. Ping back from crucial systems was good. Our maiden voyage a success. For our maiden voyage a success. Regards my disputes with the betas of a zygote selection. Of course I understand we have limited overhead to run simulations of gene flow in our future humans, but we can all agree that there is a margin for refinement in future cradle populations. Donk? D-O-N-C? I've got no idea what that means. or what that's abbreviated for. Or shortened for. In addition, to personally overseeing completion of the Luthia O2 site inside Mount Namuli, I will formulate and propose a modified zygote selection plan within the week. Okay. Not sure what Dio and Donk is. If it doesn't get mentioned otherwise, would someone let me know what the hell that word's supposed to stand for? I would really appreciate that. Little vessel, not very worried. To be fair. Unless, of course, we have to... Oh my good god. Okay, we do not need that many of those. We just don't. Cradle Servitor Persona. Development of the artificial persona for Cradle Servitors, Nurturer, Disciplinarian, Healer continues at a very good pace. We are targeting Turing 0.4 for these constructs. This should allow low-grade empathy and limited improvisation without undermining adherence to codified behavior sets. The stimulus-driven switching of persona, however, is proving to be a greater software challenge than anticipated, especially concerning that entrenched feedback loops between disciplinarian and healer persona. I can imagine that would be the case. I have also attached the reports from an incident where a servitor running the mother persona intervened on disciplinarian servitor's behavior. A parental argument, if you will. Amusing on first glance, perhaps, but deeply concerning. I have attached a comprehensive plan for correcting these interactive protocol shortcomings in just... Okay. Get up there.
Cradle facilities. Elizabeth said a new generation of humans would be spawned inside such places.
She did.
All Mother Mountain. It was one of them?
Yeah, it looks
There's
like
only
it.
one way to be sure.
I guess that's
The
basically
hatch
certain.
wouldn't open. Something about a corrupted alpha registry. I need to search Elizabeth's office.
Okay. Alright, we're going to end it here. I'll see you next time. We'll hopefully get to see Elizabeth's office. Blah. And yeah, head on from there and hopefully not run into too many more eclipses, if any. Let's get the hell out of here. See you next time.